I explained to you what this expansion was, right? It's Cataclysm. So this is Deathwing's timeline where he actually succeeds with the Cataclysm. More than half the class, there's 11 classes in this game. So 6 of the classes, they got something called the commander under Deathwing, because Deathwing's like, I guess, the general, and the evil classes in quotations got a commander of Deathwing. This introduces a brand new mechanic called heralding, all right? And it's not like Harold and Kumar. It's like its own thing. It's like Herald. I just gotta make that very clear. Now, do you remember anything about Galakron? Because if you remember Galakron, this is gonna be a lot easier to explain. Please.
Was is this the 8-drop dragon that makes a bunch of self?
No. Whatever. We'll start from the beginning. I am gonna show you Deathwing first and foremost. This is Deathwing. He's a very big hero power hero card. He is 10 mana. You get 12 armor when you play him, and your hero power becomes deal 5 damage to anything. We're not gonna go into what his cataclysms are because this video is already super involved, but he is important because every class that can herald can play Deathwing.
Sure.
We're starting from there.
And there are 6 of those.
There are 6 of those. Okay, now you may notice that it says Battlecry, choose 1 cataclysm to unleash. Again, we're not going to go into what the cataclysms are.
Yeah, don't worry about what those are. Okay, this video's great.
Blake, well, okay, no, hold on.
Look. You're already reading the cards and telling me not to even care about what they say. Sure, this is going to be the easiest video of all time.
You may notice it says choose 1 cataclysm to unleash, and it says under it herald twice to upgrade. Okay. And then this is where we're going to take it up another level, all right? If you have herald twice throughout your game, you will now be able to choose 2 cataclysms. And if you herald 4 times throughout your game, you are able to choose 4 cataclysms. So it doubles every single time. All right?
Okay.
Now this is going to translate over to stats as well. Okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Why not? So stats being the 12 armor?
No, not for Deathwing. We'll get to that in a second. But this is the proof of concept for you.
I know, for something else we haven't seen yet. Got it.
On top of that, just so you get the full package here, there is Ultraxian, who is the 6 mana 6/7, who interacts with Deathwing positively based on how much you herald. Okay. Again, I don't think you really got to rate these 2 because both of them are like a package, and most people would agree with me that Deathwing's a pretty good card. On top of that, there is a neutral herald as well. You could read this one, so we're gonna go through this together.
Deathwing is good. I still don't feel like I have the information. Okay. Envoy of the End is 5 for a 5/4 taunt with Battlecry Herald your Colossal.
So you see that as a neutral minion, we can herald our Colossal. The Colossals are the commander. Are we following 100% yet?
Yeah, the Colossals are the commander, but not the Deathwing?
Not the Deathwing. Good job. Okay, so we're going to start off with...
Ultraxian is a commander?
Ultraxian is not well, he might be a commander in lore, I'm not really sure, but he is this kind of like another neutral herald to have, with the benefit of also reducing your Deathwing based on how much you've herald.
So you're asking me if I understand that heralding does something to a card I haven't seen yet. Got it.
Well, I'm making okay, here is your first commander.
Arisen Onyxia. Onyxia? Yep. Would you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. 9 mana and 2 red diamonds for a 3/6 undead dragon with Colossal +2. When your hero would lose health on your turn, gain that much max health instead. Oh god.
This is why I showcased to you the mechanics first before I started with Onyxia. So you may have noticed when you see Colossal +2, do you remember what Colossals do before we get into this?
A Colossal is not a Deathwing, or it is a Deathwing?
It is one of the commanders for Deathwing.
Colossal is one of Deathwing's commanders, and it makes them better when you herald them first. That's what I got so far.
We'll go from here.
Okay.
So here's what happens. When you play Onyxia, you get 2 wings. Imagine like she has a wing on both sides, and one of them actually matches going on the other side. But here we go.
Yep.
So the reason why I told you about heralding first before I showed you the commanders is so we understand this mechanic together. So this one I'm going to go through with you. So the way that this starts off is Onyxia's wing would be a 1 mana 1/1, right? You'll notice when it says when summon, get a random 2 cost minion, it costs health this turn, and then you herald twice to upgrade. Okay.
Yeah.
If you herald 2 times, what random cost minion would you get?
So you implied that an upgrade was a double. So is the answer 4?
Yes, it is doubled. If you herald 4 times,
Poggies.
What would you get?
Poggies. If I heralded 4 times, so 2 would be 4. So 4 would be 8.
That's 100% correct. So if you can herald more if you want to, and we'll get to that why that's important in a second. But you can only get a maximum benefit from 4 from the Colossals themselves.
Why?
That's the way Blizzard decided to do it. I guess we don't have a 16 cost minion. I guess is the other thing they have to worry about for this one.
So the answer is because we said so?
Because design, balance, I don't know.
It's not a very good gamer move. Just saying.
We have another thing to worry about here. We have the individual minions that herald. Okay, and now this is why it's important as well for heralding. When you herald, oh god, this is so much to explain. When you herald, let's look at this card real fast so we can go through this.
Obsessive Technician is for what are the 2 diamond thingies?
Those are 2 blood runes. For the purpose of this video, we will ignore it.
Great.
I'm just listen. People might be like, why didn't you explain it to them, guys? There's so much information to convey here. There's so much information. I'm trying to.
No, let me know in the comments. In the comments, type up a concise and clear and detailed explanation of Blood Rune. For me.
Okay.
Do it for me.
He's not going to read
the engagement.
He'll forget about it.
SEO. Shut up. I'm getting you comments. Lifesteal on a 2/5 Battlecry Herald Onyxia.
Okay. So when you herald Onyxia, we do one other thing than making our big colossals better. We summon a minion.
What?
Yes.
Why?
Because that is what Blizzard wanted to do.
Because that's not what heralding is.
Herald. Oh my god. So because you're a commander class and you're like, oh, I'm Mr. Deathwing. I'm so super cool, right? I'm the coolest person to ever do it.
Yeah, that I was born this way. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. I don't know why I would love to hear the lore of what is happening here. So when you herald, you summon this. You may notice that 1 mana
for a 1/1 undead wagon.
Yes.
Go on.
Yeah, I'll say you may notice that the wings are different than the actual soldiers because they interact differently.
The wings are different than the soldiers because they hold on, let me
got it. Take your time. So the thing is about the wings are for Onyxia only because they summon off the colossals. The soldiers do not because they're not a part of the colossal. They're not an appendage of the colossal. They are only summoned when you herald. And this is important because the soldier stats on top of doubling the effect will also double the stats. So if you herald twice, what would the stat of this minion be?
2/2.
Good job. But a reminder, the effect is also increased. So right now it's a 1 mana 1/1 that gives you a random 2 cost. If you herald twice, it goes to a 1 mana 4 cost minion and it's a 2/2 and then 8 costs. You got what I'm saying?
So hold on. When I play an Obsessive Technician,
yes,
I get a Soldier of Onyxia.
Yes.
Now, when I get the Soldier of Onyxia, where does it go?
To the right of it.
Or battlefield?
To the right of it. It will summon with it.
Okay. So does that mean it doesn't proc to get a random 2-cost minion?
No, it will because it procs when it's summoned.
Oh, and then where does that go?
The random minion that you summon or that you generate?
Yeah.
It goes in your hand. Yeah. It goes in your hand.
It goes in the hand.
Yes.
But then you can pay health instead of mana for it, so it's kind of free. And you'll get its battle cry because you played it from hand.
Yes. These are all great questions.
What the fuck is going on? Why is 1 card 3 cards? Well, okay, but like Envoy of the End, you're telling me that 5 mana 5/4 taunt that I looked at also comes with a 1/1 that also comes with a 2 cost from your deck that you can play for free and proc its battle cry. And that is the worst case.
You are only rating how good each class specific thing is, okay? Not the neutral.
Okay. And again, the neutral ones can only go in 6 classes because of Deathwing, or can they go in anything?
I could be wrong. You could put them in anything, but you don't gain the benefit of Herald from putting it in a class that's not evil. How's your brain feeling? You're feeling okay?
Oh, I get it. We're trying to turn this into like auto battle simulator thing where you make one action and 20 different effects go off to make your brain think that you did something cool. Yeah. That's what we're doing. Yes. I get that.
Now, on top of that, you might be like, oh, that's a lot. There's also one more Herald card that I will show you as well.
Experimental animation is 6 for a shadow. It says Herald Onyxia and deal 4 damage to all enemy minions.
What are we thinking?
So we're board wiping and getting a 1/1 that gets a 2 cost. And it's only the opponent's board.
In its worst case, yes, that's exactly what it would do.
But when you upgrade it, it does 8 and then 16.
No, okay, so this is where it gets extremely convoluted here. This is where it gets extremely convoluted. The spells themselves do not double in stats. It's only the heralding effect of it.
Why?
That's Blizzard Entertainment.
What do I think of the package?
The package deal.
You rate my package? Is that what we've become? Yes. Okay. What the hell are you guys doing over there? What is this game? Why does everything have to come with like 3 things? Is this how this is like not just a presentation of like power creep in a card itself? It's like now we attach a card to a card to a card. And I feel like Magic has had like these phases, but this one is so much
There's
just
a lot.
Because.
Well, I think
why
it's
do
like
you get more? Because
it's the thematic nature of what Deathwing is, I guess. I don't know. So what do you think of the whole package of Onyxia?
It's probably busted.
Probably busted.
It's too much. It's so much material built into one thing. It concerns me because if you're a player trying to get into the game and you just play a thing and you have no idea what's going to happen and then it goes whoosh, 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 either you love that or you hate that. I'm from the old school camp that hates that. I want to know what things do when I play them. But I feel like if you get a new 8-year-old who's used to video games just cranking out dopamine at all times and you play one thing and then out comes another and you get a free thing in hand that you now play as well that you get more stuff from, they're probably gonna say this is the cool kids game. So I don't know, is this like modern gaming design at work? Probably.
So you're going with this is busted?
I mean, it looks pretty busted. Look, it looks pretty good. Dude, compare like a 4-mana 2/5 lifesteal with like an okay battle cry. Just compare this obsessive technician to anything from 10 years or more ago. And then tell you, oh, by the way, you also get this minion that comes with it. And you're like, okay, maybe it's not that bad. And then you say that minion gets you a free other minion from your deck that you also get to play the same turn.
It's not for me to hold on. It's not for your deck. It's randomly generated. It is randomly generated. It's not from your deck.
The whole from the whole card pool.
Yeah.
Still, it's just material. It's just material.
Okay.
Like what? You get 3 things and all it says is Herald. Like, what does Herald mean? Oh, it means you get 3 things. What the hell?
I will say this to you because you seem like this is very, very good. This might be the worst one out of all of them.
Great.
And
nice.
So
well, by the worst one, you mean Onyxia?
Onyxia, the Onyxia package might be the worst one of all of them. So here's the thing.
Sweet.
Before we get in, people might be asking, Rarran, when are you showing them this? So we had a patch a week ago, probably by the time we're recording this. I don't remember what day it was. I think it might have been.
I'm wearing a University of Michigan shirt because they won the national championship last night. So that's what time it is. If you want to look up when that happened. So spoiler alert for you VOD fans.
Yeah, bro. 1 week later, they're gonna be like, ah, fuck. So before the patch, when remember last video when I told you Druid was running like Rampant and it was the best class in the game, whatever. This class was unplayable. Like you could not play it. After the patch, they decided to do one buff, and the only buff they decided to do was give Obsessive Technician 1 more attack. You think that made it a better Colossal?
I feel like this is a trick question. I can't believe that they even had to buff anything, but it does show the nature of the game. But why would adding 1 attack to Obsessive Technician fix everything?
Listen, we probably had this conversation before. I actually really like that decision because the most important thing to me is that they make some kind of change, right? It doesn't need to be a 3-mana 3/4. It doesn't need to get buffed that much. They can do incremental stuff because there's so much going on in this particular Herald package. One number could be the difference of them going from like maybe not super good to being one of the best Colossals in the game.
I mean, if you're saying it was unplayable before and you added 1 more attack on your 4-drop that you want to hit as often as possible.
Yeah.
I would not expect it to be now a meta-defining thing. I would say it would probably go from a D tier to a C. Like maybe people play it a bit more and maybe they even put more work into it because it seems a little more appealing because something did get pumped and they're weirdos who like Death Knight. But no, I can't say that it's meta-defining now. So please tell me how wrong I am.
Right now, it's actually okay. The thing is that other stuff got nerfed, right? The power level went down. Like Druid got hit.
Oh, well, I did consider that.
Druid got hit, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Onyxia went from being unplayable to being okay. Death Knight is probably not in the best position currently, but it is a lot better than it previously was. But I would argue that there is maybe one other Colossal that's worse than this right now. Do you understand the entire package? Because I think this one is I think it's a good introduction to the rest of them. You have any questions before we continue?
Nope. I think I am an adequate raider of packages at this point. So
okay.
I'm ready for the game.
All right,
I think it's on.
We'll go to Demon Hunter. Remind yourself what Demon Hunter does.
As Shara is the Ocean Lord, this looks. I'm getting big MTG Kiora vibes. What a character. This is 8 mana for an 8/8 Naga with Colossal +2, and your hero has Wind Fury. Okay, is upgrading mean that we get multiple Wind Furies?
No, remind yourself that the cards themselves do not get buffed. It's the appendages and the soldiers. So you will get your hero has Wind Fury, right? That's the blanket statement for Ashara. Go down to her tentacles so you can read what her appendages do that get buffed.
So 1 mana for Ashara's tentacle is a 2/1 Naga that says when summoned, give your hero +1 attack this turn.
Okay.
Herald twice to upgrade. So goes to 2, goes to 4.
Yep. And the stats would also get doubled.
So it's a 2/1. So it can be a 4/2 and an 8/4. Okay. All right. Now, do I evaluate this in like a vacuum, or do I get to see
I want to make sure that you understand.
So
I just want to understand. So just as a card, for the record, for people who are keeping track, if you are fully Herald, it says you can do 16 damage to one thing with your hero. Here's the
because it's +2 then +4, so your hero deals +4 and it has Wind Fury. Well, isn't that 8?
You would summon 2 because it's Colossal +2. I only showed you 1.
Oh, the Colossal plus number is the number of Whittle Tentacle friends you get?
Yes.
Gotta remember that. Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Sorry if I didn't clarify.
No, we're cool. Nope. Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Okay. Here's the soldier. Same concept. If you Herald, this is what you summon. Stats get doubles, all that stuff.
Okay.
Here's the first card.
We get 2/1, and it gives the hero +1 attack this turn, the turn it's summoned. Okay. Yep. Herald twice. Yep. Armored Bloodletter is a 3/1 rush. Battle Cry is to do the heraldy thing. Okay. That's our little dork. That's what we're playing on turn 3. So it's a 3/1 with rush that also creates a 2/1 that gives your hero +1 attack. So your hero that turn gets to attack for 1, and you get a 2/1, and you get a 3/1 rush. So you're managing the board for like 4 points if you need to, at least.
Okay. What you just said, yep.
And you got a 2/1 chilling for 3?
Yep.
What the fuck is going on? Okay. All right. What are you showing me this card? Felon Fusion. This is a card that's in your deck. You only get 1 of them?
You get 2 of these.
Also. You get 2 of these. Herald Ashara. Your hero has lifesteal this turn. Oh, nice. So lifesteal on your hero. Like usually when your hero hits, it does damage to the hero, yeah?
Yep. Or whatever you're hitting into, yep.
So if it's lifesteal, do you just not, does it do the opposite? Like does life go up instead of hero being damaged, or does it just break even?
Okay, so it would break even. It'd break even.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank God.
With lifesteal, if I'm tacking into a minion or a hero that doesn't have an attack stat, you just get the life. So if I'm tacking, let's just take Ashara, for example. Let's say I did Felon Fusion on turn 10 with Ashara Max Herald. That's 16. I would heal for 16. If I attacked into a minion that does 5 damage, right? Each swing I would -5, but then I would gain 8.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I gotcha. Yep. I'm with it. I'm hip. I'm down.
Okay. What do you think of Ashara?
I mean, we hate demon hunters, so obviously this is scum of the earth, garbage trash.
So true.
It like on its surface it says I'm a loser, but I play this. That's how you know what's going on. So the Felon Fusion is an interesting card. It's definitely a setup card, but it's like a big swing card.
It could also just be played for tempo, right? Like you could
I mean, yeah, but
the inevitable goal here is to have your Ashara, like obviously you're not guaranteed to draw Ashara every single time, but the inevitable goal is to have it on 8 fully heralded. So
yeah.
You might just play it on 2, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, you might just throw it out there. You're right. Heralding is just the bottom. The bottom, right? Does this bring you the creature? It does, right? Because it's heralding. Yeah, so on turn 2, it's a 2/1 that gives your hero +1 attack that has lifesteal, so it can gain a life, I guess, if it's just a 1 attack hero.
Yeah.
But it manages their 1 power thing on the board or whatever. Yeah, that's not bad. And it makes everything better in the future. Yeah. So if you play this on turn 2, and then you play the Bloodletter on turn 3, you have a 2/1 and a 2/1 and a 3/1 rush. You attacked for 1 last turn with lifesteal, and then you're attacking this turn again with a +1 attack from the 2/1 that you made. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We did like 9 on turn 3 or somewhere around like, we dealt 7 but have 9 on the board. Is this just normal? Is this how you open games these days?
I feel like you're okay. So one of the things I think you're assuming is that your opponent's not going to react to what you're doing.
I mean, not necessarily. Okay, in Magic, it is not unheard of for people not to have plays on turn 1 and 2. Although, of course, that changes a lot. I do assume your opponent's playing things on turn 1 and 2, but like a lot of what you're doing here has rush, so you're just immediately gunning it down. And I know you don't have a lot of toughness stats, so some of it's a one-shot, but like, it's doing a lot to the board in 3 turns. Am I crazy? It seems like a lot. I mean, if you play a 1-mana 1/3, does it just hose everything? I don't know.
I guess it maybe I don't want to say anything without to skew your opinion.
Yeah. So your question is that good?
Is the whole package, do you think it's good? You think, I guess what we'll say instead is, do you think it's better than Onyxia?
Better than an Onyxia. Yeah, it's faster. I will go with the speed read. I like value faster. More. It looks faster to me. 3-mana 3/1 rush, make a 2/1 and attack with your hero is like a lot for 3. I mean, you're heralding up for cheaper too. Like the cost of the heralds I see right now is lower. Yep. If the heralding alone comes with so much value and prepares your future to be stronger, then doing it cheaper is better. That's my read on the situation so far. So yes, I think this is better.
Okay, you're absolutely correct. It is better than Onyxia. Pre-patch and post-patch, it is better than Onyxia. They didn't buff or nerf anything from here. In terms of Demon Hunter, it's not even the best deck to play with. They have another better deck that doesn't even include minions. It's fantastic to go up against. Would highly recommend it. CGB, let me tell you a story.
Sounds fun to me.
I died on turn 7 with nothing on board. I died from 28 life from Demon Hunter with the no minion deck. It was great. I closed the game swiftly after that. I didn't play for the rest of the day.
I love this. Where do I sign up? That sounds like my game right there. Is that Wheel of Death stuff? What is it? I guess it's
a whole other mechanic. We'll have to get through it one other day. In terms of Ashara is kind of just a game ender. That's pretty much what you wanted it to be, right?
Murder.
16 damage on turn 8 if you have no taunt is kind of disgusting. And quite literally, like, we're not even counting like with weapons or any other additional attack they may get during their turn. There's a lot of ways to manipulate like your Wind Fury mechanic because you're doubling everything, right? Very can be a very, very powerful effect. And with Demon Hunter, because there's so much healing, there's so much card draw, it's very often that you will just be fully heralded by turn 8. And it's not even the best deck. Again, reminder for the Demon Hunter.
Nice. I love this. Let's go.
Okay, next is Rogue. Rogue has Frank Sinatra.
What?
It's Sinestro, but I call it Sinatra.
You know what they called Frank Sinatra? They called him Old Blue Eyes. So this should be a Blue Eyes White Dragon situation, not this.
Well, this is
messed up. Yeah, this is really weird. You're trying to steal some thunder. Sinestra, not Sinatra, is a 6-mana 5/5 dragon with colossal +2, and your spells from other classes cast twice. So Sinestra's wing is 1 for a 1/1 dragon, and when summoned, get a random spell from another class. It costs 1 less, herald twice to upgrade. When summoned, get a random spell from another class. It costs 1 less, herald twice to upgrade. It goes for 2 to, yep, okay, yep, yep, okay. We're gaming, yep,
and then we're winning. Here's the first related card for Rogue.
The Rite of Twilight. 2 mana, Herald, not Sinatra. Combo, deal 3 damage. I like that. I mean, hey, a removal spell and a Herald that also turns into a thing. Yeah, sick. Maniacal Follower is 3 for a 3/1 with Stealth and Death Rattle Heralds. That's an interesting one.
There's so much to go through.
Oh, well, I gotta move my butt. Okay, so I don't like Rogue as much. Okay, this is a weird question, but it has a purpose, I swear.
Okay.
Are there still bad cards in Hearthstone?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm not as big on this one because you just might not get cards that are very useful. The RNG is fun, the casino is fun, but if you're hitting cards that don't help you, then it doesn't matter if you cast them twice.
Let's be optimistic here for 1 second, okay? Let's be optimistic.
No, I can't. Hey, I played with you.
I see
you're
what
too
you're
optimistic.
saying. Yes, you can generate a really bad card, but on the flip side of things, right, which would happen the other time, like 50% of the time, you generate something really good.
Look, we know who we are. You're who you are. I am who I am. And there's more of you than me out there, the optimistic Gambas. So I'm sure this will come off as a much better card than I want to think it is, and people will play it more. But like, okay. This is not the card for me. And I think it's always going to present more in meta than it deserves to, just because people love the Gamba. I do like the cards around it. I like the Rite of Twilight more than I like Maniacal Follower, but Follower is good. Like, this will help you manage the board and get to a game state where maybe you have time to double and like quad or like duplicate cast all of these spells from other classes. And when you're hitting, it's going to feel like the most bestest thing in the world, but I'm not that high on it. I think that if you're still hitting bad cards or cards that are too expensive to cast before you're dead, that it doesn't matter. So I'm not very big on this.
This one's one of the best ones.
Of course it is. Of course.
So you are right.
Gambler mentality.
People really people love this effect, right? The random generation stuff is so fun.
Oh yeah.
Before the patch where Druid was running rampant, Rogue is actually one of the better classes for the game because of not only for able defending for the board like you said, but they have a good late game to kind of delay the Druid enough to actually win the game. Also, random spells sometimes just give you an out that you didn't have before, right? Because if you think of it like the random card I generated could be bad for sure, but sometimes it's going to win you the game. And that has happened to me more often than not because you can't play around everything. Right?
Because so you closed the game every time it wasn't. I understand.
Yeah. I actually repressed every memory and didn't help me out.
Because you literally rage quit every time it wasn't what you needed. I know. I understand.
After the patch, they did one buff for Rogue, which I thought was really interesting because I didn't think Rogue really needed it. They decided to do a Maniacal Follower from a 3/1 to a 4/1. And right now, in the current metagame, Rogue is in the top 5 decks to play.
Boggies. Yeah.
And it's mainly because of this package. This package is good. Also, if Sinestra lives a turn, it's over. Like, the game is, you get so much value from all these random spells you picked up throughout the game. Rogue still has preparation in the game as well, so you can discount their spells that you get. It just means for a really, really good turn. And
how do you play this and have it live? Who allows that?
Well, you wait until like what, turn 8? Because you got to remember.
Oh, and then you do it all the same turn.
Yeah.
Wow, you just talked about dying on turn 7. You get a turn 8, I guess, with enough good rogue cards. You do. Yeah.
Not every matchup's against fucking Demon Hunter. Okay, not every. Like, I'm telling you, bro. If we take that class out of the game, Hearthstone would prosper. Let's move on to Warlock. I'm really curious to see what you think of this one.
Shogal.
Yep.
Mastermind. I see like Sauron's eye and big squiddy Cthulhu and like, what is this?
Cho'Gall is
giant
different
ogre.
He's like two
Who
different.
Is this?
He's 2 different ogres into one.
I'm sure that's not weird at all.
It's, you know what? I will give Hearthstone a lot of credit. They have done a really good job of making them feel like 2 different beings in one. It's very well done.
Let's see it. 9 mana for a 6/6 colossal +2. Your arms and soldiers destroy minions in the enemy's deck instead.
You'll understand what that means as you continue reading.
Chose arm 1 mana 1/1. At the end of your turn, destroy the minion to the right and gain +2/+2. Herald twice to upgrade.
Okay, so
yeah,
when you play. Well, we'll get through the Herald stuff in 1 second, then I'll go through the whole thing just so you understand. So this is a location that you got.
Wait, when do you get it? Oh, this is a card in your deck. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think the most confusing thing is drawing the line between the stuff you just get for free and the actual cards you put in your deck. 4 mana location, 2 uses, 2 durability. I don't remember what we call that.
2 durability, yeah.
Herald, Shogal, and draw a card. Oh, hello. Wait, okay. I have to pay 4 for that?
You pay 4 to draw 2, or draw 2 over the coast of tunes, but you herald twice. Here's the soldier in case, even though you know what it is. But once again, you summon a minion to the right of the location. It'll eat the minion to the right of it.
And to its right means like on your board. It's on your board.
On your board. So if we go back up to Cho'Gall, right? Cho'Gall says your arms and soldiers destroy minions in the enemy's deck instead. Rather than eating a minion to the right on your board, it will take a minion from the opponent's deck, eat it, and gain the stats.
Just a random card. Just a random one for the deck gets nommed. What happens if they have no creatures in their deck?
Well, you're fucking depressed. So that's what it comes down to.
Like, let's go Demon Hunter.
Yeah, so Demon Hunter giga counters it for sure.
So it becomes a 2 that gets +4/+4 if you herald twice. Yep. So it's like kind of a 6 the turn you get it out.
Yep, if it eats something.
Is just something you have to herald. All you gotta do is herald. You get like a 6 if you have some little piece of crap to eat. Okay.
Yeah. So keep going. And then here is the other Herald card for them.
Shadow Sworn Disciple, 2 for a 2/1. Battlecry, Herald the Thing, Death Rattle, restore 3 health to your hero.
So
okay.
There are cards, for instance, that are like eggs, is what I'm going to describe them as. And eggs are 0 or like 1 mana 0/3s that have a death rattle that summon a bigger thing. So there are ways for you. There are minions you are happy to eat with the Herald.
It's a sacrifice deck. Got it.
Yeah. What do you think of the Warlock package?
Trash.
Why do you why do you say trash?
I mean, I can see that it's appealing. It's a very appealing package of cards. It sounds like fun to play. But when you're in, I mean, you've shown me a number of cards that you play that are just like, here's all this stuff on the board, and here's one that just is like 4 to draw a card and get a thing that might become a 3/3. I feel like this is gonna get run over. If it's absolute top end for 9 is that you are now eating things from the enemy's deck instead of your own board, and there is something out there with nothing in the deck to be eaten, and it's the best meta deck, like that seems like your absolute top end isn't good. So at best, you are killing your own stuff to get big stats. That is good. It can be good, especially when you're killing things with upside, like you said, like the eggs, but it takes setup. It isn't free. If the pieces aren't together, it's probably just playing understated stuff in a board relevant meta. So I'm gonna say not good.
Okay, this is that was a really good answer. This is arguably the worst Colossal in the game. When we did like the pre-release Tavern Brawl, obviously that's not like what the metagame was gonna be. Cho'Gall looked really good because the metagame was really slow. This is the one Colossal package where you don't run the Colossal as of right now.
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah.
Because the heralding stuff isn't bad. Like I said, there's a lot of eggs. There's you weren't there for it in Rarran's Rumble, but there's a card they add in the mini set that's like an egg that keeps coming back over and over again, and then eventually you get a 20/20. So you always kind of have something on board to herald, but it takes a very long time. And the worst part is that if you don't have anything to herald, like you said, like it doesn't do anything. You kind of just develop a dude and that's basically it, and then you're just gonna die. And even that deck that wants to play for that egg deck, it's just better in Warrior. Like Warrior does the exact same thing, but better because they can gain armor off killing off the egg, which means they have better survivability, and it's very likely they get to the end game. Warlock looks kind of, I don't want to call it unplayable, but
Warlock is cooked.
It's definitely not looking good for Warlock.
It's not good.
We'll see. It's just the other problem with the Warlock is, and Warlock's always had this problem, is it doesn't have great survivability. So if a class like Demon Hunter is at the top currently, it's just not having a good time.
And I'm never gonna tap again.
Yeah, like you're scared, bro. I'm scared to tap in current Hearthstone.
Hearthstone tempo is too brutal. Ragnaros. Oh, I've heard this name before somewhere.
You've
so many times.
Before. Yeah, he's a reoccurring character for sure.
The Great Fire. 8 for an 8/8 elemental with Colossal +2. At the end of your turn, trigger your minions' death rattles. Death rattle-y deck.
Okay. And then you could read one of the hands because they both do the exact same thing.
Death rattle, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. Ooh, we have RNG and damage.
So if you do you remember what the original rag does?
Is it 8 to random?
Yeah, at the end of your turn does 8 damage to a random enemy. So
that's right.
Now, if you're fully Herald, not only you get a ton of stats, but you get to do that twice because it procs your death battles. On top of it, you have any other death battles already on the board.
We have Power Crept Ragnaros for a new generation. Let's go.
Okay. All right, here's the soldier.
Blizzard marketing.
Same thing. I mean, listen, people see rag, people love rag.
The Soldier of Ragnaros is 1 for a 2/1 elemental with a death rattle to deal 2 damage. Yep, we're still doing it. It's kind of the same thing. Scorching Ravager is 4 for a 4/3 dragon with Battle Cry Herald. Give the soldier rush. Give the soldier rush. So the Soldier of Ragnaros.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go. Yep.
So okay. So when this one enters, now the 2/1 you got for free also has rush.
Yeah. But remember, if the stats are doubled and the effect is doubled, that also gives the rush, right?
The 4/3, if it's after you heralded before, now brings you a 4/2 with rush and a death rattle.
And that death rattle does 4 instead of 2 now.
Hoggies.
Yep.
Yes. So much damage. Wow. And it goes everywhere. Okay. Cataclysmic War Axe is 3 for a 3/2 weapon with Battlecry Herald. We've come so far. What was the axe back in the day that was just like
2 mana 3/2?
Oh, yeah. So this one brings a 2-1, at least.
That one brings a 2-1 at least, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and it goes right out there and does 3. So it's similar. I mean, is it better than the one for the other class? The Armored Bloodletter kind of is. In a way, it is. It's close. They're comparable.
Okay.
Alrighty. I'm supposed to tell you if Rag is the bee's knees.
Do you think he's good?
It comes with death rattles. So there, in theory, are death rattles to trigger. And if the opponent has to keep those things clear, which means they're taking a lot more damage to themselves and or board. But there are other death rattles in the game.
That is true.
I'm sure that there are death rattles that can trigger with this that are freaking monsters. And it certainly puts the onus on the opponent to keep clearing the cards with death rattle, but the more you're clearing cards with death rattle, the more death rattles are proccing. This has to be a pain in the ass to play against. We need the owl. Return the owl to its natural stats.
Dude,
maybe make it 1.
I want to say right now,
1.
there's like 1 silence card in the game.
I mean, random has its downsides, but damage is pretty much always good because it sticks in your game. There isn't the chance in Magic of dealing like 2 damage to a 4 toughness creature and having it wear off at end of turn. So you always want the damage somewhere. Axe seems fine. I bet it could play offense or defense because it's probably trading up with minions a good amount of the time. So you could be on the play or draw and be all right. So this comes down, it gets the 2 things. And then if it got heralded twice, if you got both hands, it's 4 to a random enemy and 4 to a random enemy on your end step. Yeah.
You're talking about the Rag? Yeah.
So it does 4, then on their turn, they have to do something about it. So they probably take another 4 and another 4. If they're at 16 and they low roll, they're dead. If they have a board, it's gone. Yeah, this seems like a lot of impact, dude. This doesn't seem good for anybody who wants a board. You said it's a board-centric meta. So, like, what beats this combo? It still seems aggressive enough to threaten. I'm going to say it's good.
You're 100% right. This shit is gnarly. Like it's awful too, because there's situations where you're like, man, I really needed to like hit the minion here, and it goes face, and then you're upset. But then there's the alternative of like, if it hits the minion, I'm also screwed because then I have nothing to fight back on the board against this. It feels awful to play against because regardless of the outcome, like, you know, it's inevitable that something bad's gonna happen. And I don't know if you can really say that for the rest of the ones I've shown you thus far. On top of that, the deck that it's slotted into is super tempo based. So like, you kind of just drop these stuff on curve and then you continue applying pressure while you're heralding, to the point where like Rag is just going to win you the game on the spot. And even if you could deal with Rag, it's like you still got to deal with his hands. His hands will deal probably 8 damage at that point on death rattle, which means like, even if you kill it, there's a potential chance you probably lose the game anyways. On top of that, this is probably the first Colossal, other than maybe, I want to say maybe like the Demon Hunter one, where it's like, with more cards added to the game, this is probably going to get even scarier, depending on if you can trigger the death rattles multiple times, whatever. Like, it is a very spooky card to have in the game, but it's Rag, so it's cool that it's good. Might be the best Colossal so far, I think. I'm trying to think if any of the other ones have really stood up against
you guys have stats like when it hits when it hits the board, does it win the game? Like that kind of like played win rate? I would guess it's pretty high.
We'll check it right now while I give you the next one.
Al-Akir, Lord of Storms, is 8 for a 2/8 Colossal +2 with Rush and Wind Fury and Battle Cry. Get 2 minions with cost equal to this minion's attack. They cost 1. What the hell?
Okay, so with Al-Akir's whole gimmick, when he heralds, he summons soldiers that give adjacent minions plus attack. But if you're summoning 2 of them on either side of Al-Akir and it's fully heralding, all of a sudden your Al-Akir is doing 10 damage, which means you're getting 2 10-cost minions in your hand that cost 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this has Wind Fury?
And this has Wind Fury.
Big Timmy dreams, baby. Big Timmy dreams.
Okay, so
but at least it's a worthy one. Oh my god.
Here's the soldier that you summon. Here's the first heralding card.
The soldier is a 1 mana 1/2. Adjacent minions get +1 attack. Herald twice to upgrade. Skywall Sentinel is 2 for an 0/3 elemental with taunt, and the battle cry is herald. I'm feeling a control kind of vibe coming on here. Like we're playing our taunting little friends who are gonna wall up and try to give us time to absolutely pop off. All right, cool. The Ritual of Power is 2 to herald the thingy and get 2 1/1 elementals with Rush. Okay. Yeah, tempo card. And when you herald, you get the soldier.
You get the
adjacent
soldier.
minions have +1 attack. Do you choose where it goes? Like if I play Ritual of Power, I mean, I assume it would, or it would be stupid. Does the soldier go in the middle of the 2/1/1s?
That's a great question. So the way that Ritual of Power works is that you don't get the 1/1s on board. You get the 1/1s in your hand. When you herald, when you herald, it summons the soldier, so you can decide where you want to put the Breezelings if you have the additional mana for it. I will say for Ritual of Power, because positioning does matter quite a bit with this deck, Ritual of Power will always go to the rightmost. Where with Skywall Sentinel can be placed anywhere on the board, so it will always summon to the right of Sentinel rather than always on the right because it's a minion rather than a spell. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep. I believe it does. Yes. Man, I'm still like, wow, 2 mana for an 0/3 with taunt, and you get a 1/2 that makes it a 2/3 with taunt. Let's go. Why wouldn't we get a bunch of things?
Depending on when you play it. So if you played it exactly on 2, it's a 1/3. It would be a 1/3. And then if you herald twice, then it becomes a 2/3, depending on when you play in the game.
These are cheap. We talked about your cheap heralds are good heralds, and they make board stuff. Board stuff's important. I'm trying to remember. I don't think Shaman was great. Like coming out of our last couple of meta videos.
I'm not going to answer that question. I want to see if you remember.
Okay. That's fair. It seems like your early game is like, these are good cards. If the rest of your deck is on par so that you have good 3s, 4s, and 5s to bridge the gap up to bringing out this card, and you can get heralded multiple times so that when you bring this out, it is really good. Seems solid. What I don't see here is a clear mid game, you know? It's just make more stuff that can get board wiped and run over. Like maybe getting to your Lord of Storms all fully powered up isn't a given here. That's what I'm kind of vibing with. This is the first time though that I've been like, I need more. Like on its own, it's cheap and it makes board. So in theory, it is good. I just need to know that it can live long enough to make the Al-Akir happen. It seems like Al-Akir is nuts. I think it's supposed to be nuts. It's a little hard to process how nuts it is because it has the Rush and the Wind Fury and the Colossal and the hands, and it gets you 2 more, like, or more than that. It gets you minions that are 10 that cost 1 in theory, right? And I love how cheap the heralds are because it could actually happen. I just need to know they don't die. I'm going to guess in the card pool that this is probably good now. It might get really good later. It seems good. It doesn't, I need to see a little more to call it great. It seems good.
Okay. I feel like, your analysis there was really spot on. This is before this patch, this was the deck I climbed to legend with.
Yeah, there you go. Get it, buddy.
This class, especially in the early game, is a fucking monster. Like, it's, if you hit the curve and you go 2, 3, 4, 5, like the game's over. Now, there are moments that feels like if you don't hit Altraxian and you don't draw Deathwing or you don't draw Al-Akir, it feels like your deck does nothing at some point. That's the other issue. Most of the time, your early game is so good that you can buy a couple of turns without worrying about the fact that you're probably gonna end up drawing into the Al-Akir or Deathwing at some point. This is one of the best decks before the patch. They decided to nerf 1 card for this because it was so good, which was the Skywall Sentinel. They made it a 0/2 instead of a 0/3.
A lot of taunt, baby.
This deck is still one of the best decks in the game.
Okay, let's go.
Al-Akir, if it's fully heralded, is disgusting. It is such a monster threat to deal with. And I think the underrated part about it is that if you have other stuff on board, it also gives them the additional attack as well. So you just kind of do so much damage up front, and then your opponent has to respond to what you just did. And then even if they clear that board, they have to deal with 2 10-cost minions that come out after, which is, in current Hearthstone, a very difficult task to do because there's not a ton of removal, like I've said before. That's heralding.
Stuff that gets stuff with more stuff. I can't wait to see what great mechanic they come up with next.
I think I think it's funny looking at from, or like trying to explain this mechanic, because for me, like seeing it a couple times, like, okay, now I understand what's going on. But man, explaining this is actually such a process because there's so much to this.
In Magic, this would be like akin to some of the more broken things that they've done without really thinking about it, which is like Cascade, right? So
sure.
Like with Cascade, like you cast something that's cheaper at random from your deck. They made cards. There's even some commanders, like there's a commander that has like Cascade, right? So you play it and you cascade into another spell and then another spell. So you get it plus 2 other things, but you don't know what they could be. This you can plan around. I feel like they just want you to stop asking questions, just hit the craft button and put it in your deck and play it and see what comes out, and then you'll know how the card works. I feel like that's the direction.
I know this is very convoluted, but it is a really fun mechanic to play with. There's a lot of going on. Like the rogue one's super enjoyable. I think I'm not a Demon Hunter player, so I don't know what it's like, but they're really fun.